I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR. Today, I have a special guest, Greg, here.
Hello.
And we went to a, noon 15 showing of the new Bruce Springsteen biopic called Deliver Me from Nowhere.
Yes.
So, Greg and I heard about the movie, and in preparation for the movie, we tried to not look into it much. We didn't want to know much. But what I did learn is that it is about a very specific point in time for Bruce Springsteen when he was making the album Nebraska. And I had mentioned that to Greg, and he said, "Oh, that album's that's like a quiet album." And I was like, I don't really know the album at all. So sort of separately yesterday, we both put our little headphones on and listened to the album and kind of read up a little bit before seeing this movie. Right, Greg?
That is right.
And we didn't really discuss it beforehand.
No, we did not.
So I'll just ask you right off the top before anyone might possibly doze off or anything. What would your basic review be?
Well, before we get into all the little nitty-gritty details of this film,
Which we will.
let me right off the bat say I thought this was an excellent movie.
Me too.
And I loved it. If you're a Bruce Springsteen fan, you're going to love this movie. If you're a music lover, just in general, I think you're going to love this movie. If you're just a film person, I think you're going to love this movie. This movie was so well crafted. It was so well written. It was so well directed. It was amazing how the story was told. And real quickly, like you said, this takes place in 1982 when Bruce Springsteen was recording his album Nebraska. That's the time period that we're in. And that's what the movie explores. And it's really an amazing story. But the film was just crafted. It was written and directed by the same person, Scott Cooper. And which is probably good, because a lot of times when movies are written and directed by the same person, there's a vision, and it helps with that. But I just thought it was a great movie, and I just wanted to say that every scene in that movie, there was like no extra dialogue. The dialogue was awesome, and there were no scenes that went on longer than they needed to be. They went on just long enough.
You know, it's interesting you say it, because that leads to something I want to talk about later.
Yeah.
But that's later. Well, I would agree that I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed the movie, with like some caveats to that.
Okay.
I would say, because we knew going into it that it was about Nebraska in this time period, and like I actually went and and you did too, I think, separately sort of studied up on it a little bit. It was, that made it really good. But if you went in looking for a fun time rock and roll East Street band, you know how a lot
concert movie,
you're not getting that.
No, it's
and
not.
Or how a lot of these biopics are like sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and they go down this very dark drug path and then somehow come out on that or whatever. It's not that.
It's
not that.
Does take place in 1982, but we do have flashbacks to his younger self. And
Yep.
that's an important part.
Yep.
And I thought that the flashbacks were really good. The way they went back and forth. They weaved his backstory of growing up with the contemporary story. And I just thought it was just so well done. And it's just, yeah.
So
for people who don't know, the really interesting thing about the Nebraska album The album that Bruce Springsteen recorded before that was The River. And what was that, like
80, 79 maybe.
I think it came out in 1980. They recorded it in 1979. It came out in 1980. And they spent so much time in the studio working on that album. Yeah. I mean, hours and days and weeks and months.
I think I heard they rented a studio for over a year.
They did. And they recorded like 50 songs.
Yeah. Bruce
Springsteen is such a prolific writer.
Yeah.
They had 50 songs, and they finally decided, there's so much material here, we're going to have to do a double album. So The River is 2 albums.
Right.
After that, they go on tour, and at the end of that tour, Bruce Springsteen is just spent.
Yeah.
And all that time they spent in the studio crafting all those songs just took so much time.
Yeah.
So Bruce Springsteen decided, this next album, I want to approach it differently. I want to, come into the studio with songs already worked out, sort of write them and work out the chord structures and basically get a rough idea of what these songs are going to be like. Otherwise, you go in the studio with, a band and you only have songs that are half written or you have some ideas. Mm-hmm. Then you spend all this time crafting the song in the studio, and it takes forever. And the musicians get tired, mm-hmm. the engineers and the sound people. It's even though they love what's going on, mm-hmm. it's just tiring. So his idea was, I'm going to record these songs on my own with some demos and come into the studio prepared, so we don't spend so much time mm-hmm. recording. Like with the album The River.
So I thought I just happened to be looking in this book. I was looking to see if I could find anything about Nebraska, which I did not. But this is from 1975. And this book, it's like British, but they have actual articles from the newspapers around Britain. And this part about Bruce, now in 75, he was getting really big. So this is well before the Nebraska album. He wasn't like a giant megastar like he was once Born in the USA came out and he was on MTV and everything. Right. But he was still already getting to be really big. But I thought this was interesting because it kind of informs how this movie, where he comes from, right. And that he talks about they made a mistake. And this is his quote. They came out with a big hype. I mean, how can they expect people to swallow something like that? I was trying to tell these guys at the record company, wait a second, give me a break. And so he basically isn't comfortable with fame, with that kind of fame. He just can't really understand. He's a kid from New Jersey who grew up working class, and to have people acting like he's a Bob Dylan type was actually shocking to him. And they'd put up signs that would say like the next Bob Dylan, and he'd make them take it down because he was just like, that's ridiculous. I'm just a kid from New Jersey.
I think it was like 1972 he came out with his first couple albums.
Yeah.
Something Ashbury Park was the first one. The second album was something River of Darkness or Edge of Darkness. I forget the name of it. Then came The River. Then came Nebraska. After Nebraska came Born in the USA. And Born in the USA album was the one that made him a super rock star. Mm. Okay, but that comes a little bit later.
Well, okay, so the movie starts off. First of all, we have Jeremy Allen White, who, you know from The Bear. He's awesome. He plays Bruce Springsteen. There's a woman named Odessa Young who plays a love interest named Faye, and I wasn't familiar with her. And then Jeremy Strong plays the manager, John Landau. But my heart jumped when Stephen Graham from Adolescence comes on, and he plays Bruce Springsteen's dad.
His father, right.
Who I guess was known as Dutch Springsteen, but oh my God, I just love that actor so much. He makes you feel everything. I don't know.
All the actors were good.
They were great.
He was good. But talking about Jeremy Allen White,
mm-hmm.
It's really hard for an actor to play somebody so well known as Bruce Springsteen And he did a really good job. He kind of looks like Bruce Springsteen. He kind of sounds like him.
Mm-hmm.
I know that in the movie he performed a lot of the songs he sang himself.
Well, they did something interesting. I heard that they had him singing, like especially the ones where he's sitting in the house playing. That was him. But then they would blend in Bruce's real voice. Like I think when they went through the cornfield, it started out with him, with Jeremy singing, and then it kind of blended into Bruce. But then they would sometimes have where he recorded it, it would be all Jeremy. But when they'd play it back, like when John Landau's listening to it, that's Bruce's recording. But you don't notice the difference because they sound so similar.
They did a really good job of blending it in. Yeah. Yeah.
So the movie kind of starts off with he's getting off of the river, I guess, tour.
Right, the river tour.
And it's gone super well. And he has told I guess he's his manager, John Landau.
It's his manager.
He told him, I need to go to the country, back to my hometown, but out in the boonies. And the manager says...
And decompress.
Decompress.
Yeah.
And the manager's like, I think you should stay in the city, keep busy. And he's like, no.
We got momentum going here. You got to come up with another album real quick.
Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure. So what happens is he rents this house in New Jersey.
Beautiful house, by the way.
He rents this house out in the rural New Jersey. What was it called? It was called...
Colt's Neck.
Colt's Neck.
But it's on a lake, and it's like this mid-century sweet.
So he rents this house, and he just takes his guitar, and he's going to sit down and write some songs.
Right.
Then he's got to sort of record them. So he gets I think the guy is his guitar tech.
Okay, I just got to say one thing about that guy real quick. The actor, I'm looking at the actor, and I'm thinking it's a serial killer. I was like, I know this guy. He's a serial killer. And I was trying to think of what show it was. And I looked him up. He's Paul Walter Hauser. And he was in the TV show Blackbird. I don't know if you remember that we watched.
No.
Yeah, what? Yeah, you do. Anyway,
I don't
he
remember.
played a serial killer.
Oh,
but he is Mike Batlin, who was his guitar tech. Yeah.
Right.
But he is the one who sets him up with what was kind of new technology then.
Brand new technology. It was a 4-track recorder that they brought in. And it was, you record right to a cassette tape. And so the thing is that all Bruce Springsteen was trying to do was record these songs onto a cassette tape and make demos of them. Mm-hmm. So he could take them into studio and say, hey guys, these are the songs, this is how they're structured, and these are the lyrics. And so then we can work from there and save a lot of time in the studio.
But the other funny thing, and the story that I had heard, is that he recorded them onto that machine somehow. I don't know. But then
the 4-track.
The 4-track. But then you have to take the 4-track and record it onto the cassette. And the only way he had to do that was to record it with his boombox. And he tells this story apparently on stage where the boombox fell in the lake and it got wet. And he had put it outside to dry in the sun. And it was like 6 months later or something. All of a sudden it just starts playing. And he's like, oh, I guess it works. Well, that's the boombox he used. And they show that in the movie. It's kind of funny. But so he makes this literal cassette tape that he has taped off of this. I mean, it's all very janky, And then the story goes that Bruce carried that cassette tape, apparently without a case, because they mentioned that multiple times, in his coat pocket for months.
So he records 15 songs. 15 songs he records, and just him singing, playing an acoustic guitar, and did some overdubbing of some other instruments.
He had a glockenspiel,
a harmonica.
He had a mandolin,
and maybe a little bit of electric guitar, I think, but not much.
Mm.
And so it's basically.
But he'd also sometimes use the track, because you can only have 4, right?
Right.
So sometimes he'd do the backup. So he'd sing, and then he'd do
backup vocals. Right.
But that was him, yeah.
So then what he does is he takes those 4 tracks, which is basically just acoustic guitar and vocals, with a few other things, but not much. and he runs it through an echo. It's a guitar effects echo thing.
Effects, yeah.
Because he wanted this echoey sound on it.
And they said like Sun Records, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they run it through he runs it through an echo thing.
And there were no drums.
And puts it right on cassette. Well, apparently once you put that echo on there, there's no taking it off.
Right.
It's stuck on there.
Yeah, yeah. But it made it cool.
But the most important thing about all this is he never intended these recordings to be released.
To be heard by anybody except for John, really.
They were just demos.
Yeah.
And so that was the magic.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't filtering his thoughts and his music. He
even says they show him he's written a letter along with the cassette tape to give to John to listen to, and in it he's like, a lot of these lyrics aren't very good and I'll change them, and the vocals fall out sometimes because I wasn't ready to sing or whatever, but that ended up being the album.
Well, the reason why people are probably wondering why was the album. He takes the cassette tape into the studio. The whole band goes in the studio, and
the E Street Band,
and they go and they record all these songs with the full band.
And one of them, by the way, was Born in the USA.
One of the songs was Born in the USA. One song was Pink Cadillac.
And the first one they did was Born in the USA, and they were all like, "This is awesome! Like, we've really done something great."
So 2 or 3 of the songs, did really well with the full band.
All right.
And they're like, oh, this is great. The rest of the songs, Bruce Springsteen hated the band version because it just ruined the spirit and the rawness of that tape, that original tape.
We're kind of leaving something out here.
Okay.
I think, because what the movie is about more than all of this. We're interested in the music part because we are. But the reason why he wanted it to feel that raw and that emotional is because he deals with depression big time. And during this time, living in this lake house by himself, he went into a deep, dark depression. And he was writing these songs from a place of such rawness emotionally. And he wanted that to come through. And as soon as he started cleaning them up, and it just lost it for him. And he even says, like, they make me want to throw up. Like, I can't listen to it.
It's sort of the studio recording of the songs. It sort of sterilizes them.
Yeah.
And it makes them, it just he was just unhappy.
Yeah.
So there's this whole thing where he's just really unhappy. So then he decides, at some point he decides, I want to release these songs exactly as they are on this cassette tape. I can't reproduce these things.
Yeah.
Even if he tried.
And they apparently tried a lot. Like, they tried multiple different ways of recording.
The problem was the recording was not high quality. Oh,
yeah. No, but I'm saying they did the electric version, but then they even did an acoustic version. They did just him and piano, and he was like, nothing is capturing it. And this went on for like a while. I think they were re-recording these songs.
Well,
but yes.
If you go back to what I was saying before, is that the magic is he did not know that he was recording an album. It was pure artistic talent, raw, just coming out. Yeah. And that's what was on tape.
Right.
So then we have this cassette tape, and when they go to try to
put it on vinyl,
put it on a record, the volume is low.
There was static or something.
There was a lot of background noise, and creaking of his chair, and some of the timing is not totally right. But who cares about that? And the lyrics, he wanted to rewrite some of the lyrics.
This is where Mark Maron shows up as one of the studio guys.
Mark, right.
I was like, hey, there's Mark Maron.
He's like a studio engineer,
yeah.
Right.
But he tried to do it at first, just like how they normally do in studio. And it really sounded bad. I'm not exactly sure why, but it sounded really bad. And I read about this.
Just low quality.
They took it to like 10 different, or some, not 10, I don't know how many, but on the East Coast, to everybody who makes waxes for albums, because first they have to, like, I don't know. So they took it to all these different places, and basically almost all of them were like, we don't know how to make this sound good. This isn't going to sound good. And they went to some old school guy, and they show this in the movie, who just kind of like used some old fashioned machine to cut the wax or whatever.
I feel like they recorded the cassette tape right onto vinyl and then did some sort of EQing of it to clean it up.
Yeah.
But even though they cleaned it up and they did the best they can, when you listen to the album, it's still rough and raw.
Oh, yeah.
And you can hear that.
You can hear, like, sometimes his voice kind of drops out. You can hear all kinds of things.
And when the harmonica comes in,
yeah,
it's like way too loud.
Well, especially on, like, the first song. I think that's probably the one. And that was just that because it was recorded that way. But it's too loud. I know.
And it comes in and it's like, whoa, that harmonica is way too loud.
Yeah. So that's kind of the base of what the movie, and this isn't giving, even though we just spoiled like everything, it's not really spoilers because I think it's helpful to know all of that going in.
Well, let me say this. I knew almost everything that happened in the movie. I knew what happened.
Studying up the day before.
Almost 95%
Me too.
What happened in the movie I already knew. However, that did not affect my enjoyment of the movie.
No, I think it helped.
It was well done. It's like understanding what's going on. It's kind of like going to see a Shakespeare play.
Yeah.
If you know the play, you can enjoy it a lot more, because if you don't know the play, forget it, because you're not going to understand the language.
I agree. You know what? I just thought of something. When we were leaving the theater today, the kids were going in to clean the theater. The one girl said, the only song, she goes, I don't like Bruce Springsteen. The only song I like is, I forget, Cover Me or something. And the other two said, oh, I don't know that artist. And I was like, uh-oh. So in case there's anybody listening who's like, I don't even know who you're talking about, it's the guy who sings Born in the USA. But he also is a singer-songwriter and rock and roll guy. And when he has a concert, they're like 3 hours long. They're like over 3 hours long.
You mentioned the song Cover Me, which is interesting, is he wrote the song Cover Me for Donna Summers.
Right.
And he recorded it, and his manager said, whoa, this song is too good to give away.
Right.
You got to hang on to this song. Write her another song.
Yeah.
Which he did.
Yeah.
There's also another song. What was the other one?
Well, no, I was going to say they bring up in the movie, they have him, his producer, John Landau, says, they want you to star in this movie called Born in the USA and write the theme song to it. And Bruce is like, kind of excited. Bruce goes, okay, I'll read that. And he takes the script. Well, in the end, Bruce said, no, I'm not your guy. Like, I'm on tour or whatever. But he did write the song Born in the USA.
I don't think he read the script.
Oh, okay. Maybe he didn't. He just realized he wasn't going to do that.
He took the title, but yes.
He was kind of,
I'm not an actor.
what's the word? Like, he felt good about being asked, but he wasn't really. But anyway, they end up making the movie with Michael J. Fox and Joan Jett. And the movie was renamed Light of Day. And he did write the title song for Light of Day. But that's why Born in the USA wasn't part of the movie.
I remember that.
I don't remember that movie.
I remember that movie. I saw that movie.
I don't remember.
There was another song that Bruce Springsteen wrote for the Ramones.
Yeah, that's right. It was
Was it Hungry Heart?
That might be.
For Off the River album?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember.
I think it might have been Hungry Heart. It was written he wrote for the Ramones, and that was another song that his producer and bandmates said, whoa, that song is too good to give away. Mm-hmm. Keep it.
Yeah.
And it's one of the better songs on the album.
Yeah. Well, but the other songs that he had written, I'm a little confused about this, because, like you said to me, that Nebraska, he did 10 songs in his house, right?
15.
Okay, but then I also heard that Born in the USA, Cover Me, and Glory Days were all part of this group that he wrote in the house.
Okay. There were 15 songs on the cassette tape.
So maybe those were on there. I'm not sure.
Mm.
Because Glory Days is one of my favorite. What's your favorite Bruce Springsteen song?
Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of them.
And by the way, Greg and I are not like crazy Bruce Springsteen fanatics or anything. We like him, all right? I wouldn't say we listen to him regularly. We've never seen him in concert.
Well,
but we appreciate him.
I've until recently, I've never listened to the entire River album.
River or Nebraska?
River.
Oh.
It's a 2-album.
Yeah.
It's a double album. There's 20 songs on there.
I love the River, though.
And so I've never listened to the whole thing, but I sat down and listened to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I re-listened to Born in the USA album.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting is the River has a very 70s, sort of a 70s rock and roll feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
And Born in the USA is clearly evolved to an 80s sound.
Mm-hmm.
The drums have that 80s drum, and it's more like synthesizer, piano stuff. So it's definitely a stylistic change between the River and Born in the USA. But
you didn't answer my question. You can't pick a favorite.
Oh, what my favorite Bruce Springsteen?
I just think of you. I think you like the River. I feel like you've always been a fan of the River. The song, The River.
It's a sad song.
It's a great song.
It's got a lot of sad songs.
It's a great song. It's about a kid who grows up
too fast.
Well, he grows up in a town where there's really no opportunity and falls in love with a girl down by the river, and it seems like great. And then
have a child early.
He gets her pregnant, right? And then he has to get married,
and
he has to get a union card and a wedding coat.
Yeah. And then their love falls apart at the end.
Oh my God.
It's sad.
But it's not as sad as the whole Nebraska.
The line in the end of that song is, I act like I don't remember, and Mary acts like she don't care.
That's so sad. You can make me cry.
It's such a sad
song. I tell you, these songs will knock you out if we talk about. All right, well, on that. So this movie, look, you actually made me tear up. That was so sad.
Cool.
This movie. So, okay, wait, hold on. I took some notes while at the movie theater. Did you see me pulling out my phone taking notes?
I was wondering who you were texting.
All right, no, it wasn't my boyfriend. There was a moment. Okay, so Bruce has now gotten money from the River and everything. He's gone back to New Jersey. He goes to a car dealer and he's buying his first, he says, I've never owned a new car before. And he's buying his first new car.
Yeah, it was a
Z28.
Z28. What is that, a Camaro?
Camaro, I think it's
Camaro Z28.
It's something like that. Anyway, so the guy who's checking him out, or not the car dealer, is an older man, and I think Bruce figures he don't know who he is, but the guy says, "I know who you are," and Bruce responds, "At least one of us does." And I feel like that's kind of what this is about. Is Bruce has suddenly gained this fame, and he doesn't know how to grapple with that because he's just a small town boy, and he is feeling depression. And there are a few little things like that where John, his manager, is talking to him on the phone, and he's like, Bruce is kind of like, I thought being in this house would give me some peace or something like that. And John says, the quiet can get a little loud. I was like, ooh, that's a good line.
Oh, I heard that. That was a great line.
The quiet can get a little loud.
That goes.
It's like you're in your head too much.
That goes back to what I first said. It's so well written. The dialogue is so good. It's like just enough, And
well, and then later in the show, speaking of getting loud, Bruce is talking about not making them electric. I think this is where it was, and keeping the songs, the cassette. And he says, I want something real in all this noise. And that kind of, it's like the noise in his head.
Right.
I just thought, oh, that's good.
I don't know if we mentioned this, but they had so much material for this Nebraska thing. And did we mention that they were going to release 2 albums?
Yeah, yeah. No, I did. We didn't say that, but they were. Yeah, I read that
The idea was to release a double album, and one was going to be acoustic
Right.
songs. You know, it was going to be electric.
It's going to basically be this. Yeah.
Right. And then Bruce Springsteen decided, no, let's put off the electric stuff and hold them, put them on the shelf, which later became...
Which, of course, the management was upset with because they had heard Born in the USA. They were like, that's a hit.
The reason why he wanted to do that was he wanted Nebraska to stand on its own by itself.
And not get covered. But yeah.
And what's interesting is he wanted to do no promotion.
Right.
No touring. Yeah. No interviews.
And he didn't want himself on the cover of the album.
Didn't want himself on the cover. He said, this music is just going to stand by itself. Speaking of the cover, if anybody knows what the cover of Nebraska looks like.
Pulled it up on my eye.
It's a photograph from inside of a car looking through kind of a dirty windshield. You can see a rear view mirror and you can see this highway. It's like Nebraska. The grass is flat, or the land is flat forever. But in the movie, for a quick second, did you notice that they showed that?
I didn't.
Well, after Nebraska was done, he buys a house in California and he moves to California, but he drives cross country with his friend.
Okay.
So instead of like promoting the album, he goes on this long road trip.
I see.
And when they're driving across wherever, there's a shot. It lasts for like 2 seconds, and it's through the front windshield of this highway. And I'm like, that is the cover of Nebraska.
I wish I'd noticed that. Well, I didn't know what the album cover really looked like, I guess. I went to the library to check it out, and they didn't have it, so I had to get Born in the USA.
This Born in the USA, I listened to this album again. Boy, I'm telling you, you want to know why this is a good album?
Why?
I'll tell you why it's a good album.
All right.
When they went in the studio to record this album, they had like 60, 70 songs recorded. Imagine that. You've got 60.
You're just choosing. You're just picking.
You can choose. Like a lot of bands go in the studio. It's like, okay, we got to come up with like 10 or 12 songs to fill this album. And they're just trying to come up with something. He's got 70 or whatever songs to choose from. You can choose whatever you want. I mean, another person like that, Prince was like that. Prince wrote so many songs that you could just pick and choose. And then I think even Michael Jackson wrote a lot of stuff. But going back to this album, because he had so much material, you could pick and choose. Yeah. And these are all good ones.
I mean, the ones that were major hits, Born in the USA, Cover Me, Downbound Train, I think was I'm on Fire. Ooh, that's a good one. Glory Days, Dancing in the Dark, My Hometown, I'm Going Down. I think those were all like top 10 at least.
And if you haven't seen the video for Dancing in the Dark, there's a cameo there with
Friends, Courtney Cox.
Courtney Cox is in the audience.
She gets pulled up, and she wasn't on Friends yet. She was not famous yet.
Pulls her up on stage, and they dance at the end of that video.
And I really kind of think her dancing in that video is what made us all in the 80s dance like that.
She's got real short hair.
She was so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this album is just, it's one.
All right, do you want to go through the track list for Nebraska real quick?
Okay, sure.
All right, so the first song is Nebraska. And during that time, he was, well, for one thing, he was reading, what's her name, Flannery O'Connor, who wrote, which I read in college, A Good Man Is Hard to Find, which was about like these farm people, and they hire this guy, and I think he's like a killer. I don't remember. She was like a Southern Gothic author. But I bring her up because what you were saying earlier about the writing on this film is what I heard is because he was reading Flannery O'Connor, and he was influenced by the way she used language very carefully and would say the least amount of words to convey the thought. And that's what he was trying to do with this album, because in the past, he would tell a story, like really tell you all about Asbury Park or whatever, I don't know. But in this one, he was trying to use the least amount of words to tell the story.
Well, right toward the end of the movie, the manager quotes.
Yes, she does, I know.
Do you remember that?
Flannery, yeah, I didn't. I wanted to write down what he said,
quote.
But I was so good.
I'm gonna paraphrase this.
All right.
I'm gonna totally paraphrase this and mess it up. The quote was something like, "The past Don't worry about
Yes,
the
that's it.
past.
Mhm.
The past is gone. The
You,
past,
you can't do anything about the past.
it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
The future doesn't. The future you're looking for doesn't exist.
That's right. That's it.
And so basically, all you've got is the present moment.
Is what's inside you too. I
What's
think
inside you at the
Mhm.
present moment.
Yeah.
Now, those aren't the exact words. The quote was much better than what
Yeah.
but it was like, ooh,
It's good. It was good.
Ooh, that was good.
But anyway, so Nebraska though, they show in the movie, and I think this is pretty true. He's sitting there with the TV on, and on comes the film Badlands with Sissy Spacek and Martin from West Wing.
Martin.
Oh my God, Charlie Sheen, Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen. A young Martin Sheen.
Young Martin Sheen and Sissy Spacek. And
Badlands, right.
that is a movie that I know about. I've never seen it, although I should because it looks like it might be good. But it's based on a true crime thing where this guy Starkweather, he shows up at his girlfriend's house. They kill her parents and their baby sister, and the two of them run off and do like a Bonnie and Clyde situation where they go around killing people. And so that's what the song Nebraska is about.
I think that was the first one he wrote.
Yeah.
Well, at least in the movie,
No, I think it was though.
Yeah.
Because these were recorded in this order, I think.
He wrote them down, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, so that's a bummer, but a good song. You know what I mean? They're all like kind of like dark. So that's about killers. And then Atlanta City is about kind of about
Atlantic.
Atlantic. Why did I say
Atlantic City?
It's about like mob kind of stuff in Atlantic City, I think.
Right.
Because at the beginning they talk about the chicken man killed, which was like a mobster. But then Mansion on the Hill, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
That is apparently, from what I read, when Bruce was young, his dad would drive out and just with him and just stare at mansions on the hill and dream about what it would be like to be able to live in one of those places. But then Bruce also later in life said when he was dealing with all this, he was kind of grappling with the fact that, yeah, his dad used to do that and he used to do that with his dad, but now he is kind of the person looking out from the mansion too. He's like on both sides of the mansion, but it's a song about people looking up at a mansion, and there are these metal gates that keep you from being able to even get close to the mansion, and they have parties at the mansion, and the sister and him sit in a cornfield just listening to the music from the parties and dreaming about what it would be like to have money.
The lyrics in the song mention that the whole mansion is gated off with this metal thing.
Like the rich are
in the film, the mansion doesn't have a gate around it. It's just on top of a hill, and I noticed that. But anyway.
But I think it's very much about classism and like if you're not part of the rich, you don't even get to come in.
His dad's like, boys, wouldn't it be great to make the kind of money to live in a place like that? Ooh, wow, wouldn't that be great?
You know, and speaking of his dad in the movie, like we said, is Stephen Graham from
Adolescence.
So good. But
boy, was he good.
He plays
in both movies, Adolescence and this movie.
But he, and I think there's a lot of the reason he's in here so heavily is because a lot of this has to do with Bruce dealing with, grappling. I keep using that word, but it's really the word I can think of. Kind of abuse from his dad growing up, and
that is such a common theme in so many movies and so many of these bio things.
I think especially
the sons and their fathers not getting along,
especially from men of that time, because they've come out of wartime, and whether they fought in the war or not, a lot of people were drinking, and there was you could not talk about it. You couldn't get therapy. It was not okay to talk about anxiety or depression or panic or any of that. Any kind of mental health, that's off the table. So it just led to people not knowing how to deal with it.
Right.
I don't know. But, all right. I forgot where I was going with that.
Johnny 99.
I don't remember. Which one's that?
Well, I can't remember exactly a lot of it. It's a criminal. I think he.
He's number 99 or something.
Yeah, he gets in trouble with the law. I can't remember the lyrics of that one.
I don't know why I'm forgetting it. Okay, well then Highway Patrolman. Oh, that's the one where, oh, you know what? I have thoughts about this one. Is this the one where he's going, please don't?
Highway Patrolman is the one with his brother.
No, that's State Trooper.
No.
Okay, maybe I'm confusing
You're backing
them.
away.
Okay.
Highway Patrolman, I believe, is a guy who's a highway patrolman, and his brother is not the, he gets in trouble.
Right.
And he's basically says, blood is like, I got to look out for my brother.
Yeah.
And,
him and his brother were always really close.
Yeah.
His brother went off to war, I think, and fought in the war and came back, and he just was troubled.
So his brother gets into a bar fight and kills somebody.
Kills a guy.
And then he's chasing his brother down, and he gets to the Canadian border.
I think it's Canadian border, yeah.
And he lets him get away.
He watches
He
taillights.
lets his brother get away because it's his brother. And there was a movie made specifically about that. Sean Penn.
Yeah, the Indian
Runner.
Indian Runner.
That Indian Runner movie.
It's exactly that.
Is that
and
song.
What's kind of funny is they asked Bruce, they said, hey, you should write screenplays because these are stories. Like, these are great stories. And Bruce is like, no, what I can do is take a story and make it 3 minutes and tell a whole story. I can't write it. So Sean Penn went and took that 3-minute song and made a whole movie out of it. I don't know how good the movie is. I don't know. All right. So State Trooper, though. I was getting these confused.
State Trooper is about a guy. I think the guy steals a car, and he's driving down a dark road or whatever, and he's saying, please don't pull me over. I don't have any license. I don't have registration. Please, Mr. State Trooper, don't pull me over. Now, we don't know for sure if he's actually being followed by a state trooper. He's just hoping not to get pulled over.
Boy, you have a totally different reading of this than I did listening to it.
Oh, okay. Well,
if I may.
I mean, maybe there is a state trooper following him, but he's playing, please don't pull me over because I've stolen this car.
See, when I listened to it, I felt he was more like, please don't pull me over because if you do, I'm going to shoot you.
I didn't get that at all.
I think that's totally what it was. He even makes re-listen. I think he's like, please don't, because he knows I'm the kind of guy, I'm not going to like go lightly. I'm going to kill you. So please don't mess with me. But is this the one where at the end he yelps? He goes, yelp.
Maybe, I don't know.
It's one of these two. I think it's State Trooper. It's at the end. And I think that is, in the movie when he's listening to the punk band, is it Suicide? Yeah, I think it's called Suicide. It's a punk band who does like all that sort of like, and that's inspired a lot of it. But I think those yelps in particular were Suicide.
And those yelps, of course, were way loud in the mix on his cassette tape.
Good.
And just like the harmonica, that was part of the problem.
I think that might be that thing. Okay, used car. I don't really remember.
That was his father buys a used car. They bring it home, and all the neighbors are showing off their brand new used car. And he's, as a young man or a kid, he's dreaming, one of these days, I'm going to win the lottery, and I will never buy a used car.
Oh, so maybe that's why at the beginning they show him buying a brand new car.
I'm going to buy a brand new car.
Oh, okay. All right, open all night. I don't remember.
Oh, boy. Is it a good one? I don't remember what that one was.
All night. I can't think. My father, I should have taken some notes. My Father's House.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I know that I read his father had a brother, so his uncle died when he was a baby, like a young child. And so his grandma and grandpa never got over that, and they spoiled Bruce big time. And Bruce's house wasn't far from his grandparents' house. So Bruce would leave his house and go to his grandparents' house where he was treated so wonderfully. But then when he'd go home, his dad was a drunk and was mean and, could be mean sometimes. And so that might be about that. I don't know. But Reason to Believe. Now this song, Reason to Believe, is, It sounds like if you hear the word Reason to Believe or you just listen to the lyric, you think this is like inspirational. But I feel like this song is so much of what the movie's about because it starts with a man poking a dead dog on the side of the highway. And he's kind of like hoping the dog will be alive or something. And Bruce says, it's just funny to me that at the end of a hard day, people still have a reason to believe. Because from my understanding, at the point he wrote this song, he was at his lowest of his low, maybe suicidal. And he was kind of like, there's no reason to believe. Like, nothing's going to change. Why do people keep having hope when it's just like the same thing? And there are multiple verses in that song, and each one is...
There's 4 verses, and each verse is a different story.
Yeah.
From a different...
That are all hopeless.
Yeah.
The one is the woman works hard and has her man, and he just leaves her. And she just sits there waiting for him to come back, and it's like, she's not coming back.
Right.
He's not coming back. Anyway, but I feel like that song is a lot of what... there's like a scene, oh my God, it's so sad, where Bruce is a boy. Now, we already know his dad's a drunk. Like, they've had to get him at the bar. He fights with his wife. He tries to pick fights with little baby Bruce. And I mean, he's probably, 8 years old or something, maybe?
Yeah,
and by
young.
the way, that actor was a little sweetheart. But
I think he looked like the
very
young,
good.
young Bruce
But
Springsteen.
there is this scene where the boy is sitting at the top of the steps waiting for his dad to come home. Kind of like looks a little hopeful, I would say. And the dad walks in, and I think it's kind of this song that he's hoping this will be the day when his dad will walk in and go, hey, son, but instead he's just like, what are you looking at? Or something. I forget what he says to him, but it's like nothing's changed. Like,
yeah,
it's very sad.
People listening to this are going to go, man, you've just given away the whole movie.
Well, we have.
We have, but
I'll put a spoiler alert.
Go see it anyway.
Well, can I give
good.
away the very end then? Since we're here?
Hey, give away the ending.
Well, I just think it
great,
feels
great
like...
ending.
I know there's another movie we watched recently that has this exact same theme of a father, because I remember talking about, but the father who's really not nice, like is really... I will say the father has depression and is an alcoholic. I mean, he has his own issues. And
there's quite a few movies like that.
But I feel like it was one we watched recently. But anyway, but then as he gets older, as he becomes an old man, he changes and he's more kind. And certainly around public people, they think he's a sweetheart. So like they're at a Chinese restaurant and the waiter, the bartender says, oh, you don't need to pay. He's such a nice guy. And Bruce is kind of like, is he?
Yeah.
There's that moment where like he's nice to everybody else. Except his family, maybe he's not nice.
I think that's true. A lot of people, they're nice to strangers and nice to people, but their families,
they're not nice at
terrible
all.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. But then at the end, his dad does give him the moment he was looking for, I suppose. So shouldn't maybe give that away.
You're giving away the whole movie, right?
I have already given away. And it's kind of sweet, but at the same time, I don't know that it ever is. It's like, I think a boy always wants that from their dad, but even if they get it I don't know if it cures it. I don't know if it fixes all the pain that you went through growing up.
Right. So the 17 songs that were recorded on Nebraska, the band did electric full band versions of maybe not every single song, but most of them. And they have not been released for a long time. However, they just released, like just last month, they released all of this.
With the album. With the movie.
Right. It's called Nebraska 82.
Right.
Now, on Nebraska 82
album. It's called Nebraska Electric or something.
It was known for a long time as Nebraska Electric. That was what was commonly referred to. But the name of the album is called Nebraska 82 because that's when it was recorded.
Right.
So if you go and listen to it, what you can hear is those versions from Nebraska that was recorded with the full band. And I listened to them and I thought some of them were good. I mean, I liked them, but they're just different. And what you can also listen to is you can listen to the other acoustic versions that he recorded that became Born in USA and Pink Cadillac, which ended up on the Born in the USA album. So you can listen to all of that.
I actually think it's really worthwhile to listen to the Nebraska version of Born in the USA, because when you hear the full band version, it seems like this rally cry for like, I was born, and you know, that like Reagan and Trump use and whatever.
Right.
But when you listen to the acoustic, you hear all the words, and it's
Different feel.
it's a different meaning, really. I mean, it's the same lyrics, but it does give you a totally different feel, because you understand that it's like, it's rough, man. It's rough being a poor mill worker or farm worker or whatever in the USA. It's, you know, it's interesting.
When we went to see the Bob Dylan movie.
Oh, I was going to say about that. Okay.
Bob Dylan movie with
Timothy Chalamet.
Chalamet, of course. I love that movie. I thought that movie was really.
Wait, what was it called? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Bob Dylan, No Direction Home.
No Direction Home.
No Direction Home, I think.
Sounds right.
That movie was, I loved that movie. That was really good. This movie here, I didn't really know, like, I knew the movie was going to be about him making the album Nebraska, but I didn't know how they were going to, approach it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can always tell when a movie is going to be a good movie, or I can always tell when I'm going to really enjoy a movie, because when I'm like 10 or 15 minutes in, I'm going, oh, this is good. This is good. 10 minutes in, 30 minutes in, I'm going, this is great. Because some movies are like, after 30 minutes, you're like, I don't know what's going on in this movie.
I have a feeling, though, this movie will split people down the middle. I think there are a lot of longtime fans who are going to go, wait a minute, you didn't have Clarence in there. You didn't have Van Zandt there. You didn't, you left out the stuff I love the most.
Well, I think a lot of people.
This is a Bruce Springsteen movie.
A lot of people, and a lot of younger people who are not familiar with Bruce Springsteen's music and his earlier stuff, and they're not huge Bruce Springsteen fans, and they're just going to see this movie. A lot of people are going to walk out of the theater and go, oh, that movie was boring.
Yeah, I agree.
Blah, 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 blah,
yeah,
blah,
it's not. Wait, you made me think, the No Direction Home. Here's something I was thinking about on the drive home, is that No Direction Home was about Dylan, who was a folk musician who wrote quiet songs, going electric. And this movie is kind of the opposite, where it's about Bruce Springsteen, who is an electric guy, going acoustic, kind of, So it's almost like opposites.
Seeing as we're giving things away, I
mean, why not?
I love the scene when the album is done and his manager takes it into the head of the
studio
whatever studio, and they listens to it, and the studio head is like, what is this?
Yeah.
You can't be serious. You're not going to release this. There's no hit songs on here. There's no, there's no single. There's no hit songs.
In fact, he's like, well, what's going to be the single? And his manager's like, no, we're not doing singles. That's not.
And the manager said, this is exactly what Bruce wants, and this is the way it's going to be released.
Yeah.
And they said, okay.
I mean,
and then when he said, no interviews, no marketing, no tour, no promotion, no nothing. You're just going to release it. The guy was like, are you crazy?
Yeah. But he does play these songs on tour now with the band. Some of them, like Atlantic City for sure, and State Trooper.
Johnny 99, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, I think they're on his set list. Yeah. So it's not like he never did. The one other thing that you asked me about, and I don't know if you ever looked it up, but I did after I got home, is Faye, who was the love interest in the movie.
That was the part of the movie. I knew everything about the movie, but he had this love interest, Faye, and I was like, is this for real? Did this really happen?
Because I agree. I had read and looked up a lot about this time in Nebraska. I never heard about anybody being a girlfriend, even at that time, or Faye.
So what did you find out?
That she is not a real person, per se, but she is based on a kind of conglomerate of the kind of relationships he had all during that time where he had these really lovely women who were girlfriends who he was in love with, but he just couldn't do it because he had commitment issues. He had depression. He was too busy with writing songs. That was more important to him. His art kind of was more important than any relationship could ever be. So it was just sort of, and just the fact that he was scared. He was like, I won't be a good enough guy for anybody because I'm so depressed and messed up.
But also, from a filmmaking point of view,
you want to see boobies.
You got to have a female.
Yeah,
you can't have a whole male cast and no females. You got to have a love interest, and you got to have, what is this obligatory sex scene? I mean,
what years?
What?
They used to always do that in the 90s. I thought we were over.
Porky's. I mean,
well, they could have had his grandma because she was a big part of his. No, not to have sex with.
Come on.
It's not that good a show. No, I mean, it could have been his mom and his grandma could have been the female. But I get it. They wanted to show how he couldn't have relationships. He just couldn't keep a relationship.
We're giving away this whole movie.
I'll say some of the beginning.
The sex scene was done very well.
Oh, it was.
It was fine. It was done. But as I was watching it, I was going, "Oh, is this really necessary?"
It was kind of necessary.
For what? The teenage boys who were going to
For all of us who want to see Jeremy Allen White and also Odessa Young. She's pretty hot too. No, I thought it was fine. It was good.
The guitar that he recorded on was a Gibson acoustic. I think it was like a J200.
They showed he had like 4 guitars.
His main acoustic that he recorded all this stuff on is a old Gibson, I think J200, which is a really nice guitar. And then he had other things in there. His main guitar that he plays on stage most of the time is a Fender Telecaster. Mm-hmm. And that guitar, if anybody, it's kind of a mutt. It's like the body is from 57 and the neck is from 62. And I don't know the dates on those, but the neck and the body don't go together. But that guitar, he has played like on every concert and everything forever. If that guitar ever comes up on auction one of these days,
it's going to be worth $1 bazillion.
$1 bazillion. Wow. Talking about
because a Fender by itself is worth a lot.
Well, and the fact that he used that Fender Telecaster like on every tour, every bar. He bought it back in the 70s.
Does he have kids? I assume they'll get his guitar someday. I don't know. I guess he does.
Well,
I think he does.
Well, I don't know.
I think he does. I just want to say, I don't know if I ever said, but the kid, I looked him up. He's Matthew Anthony Pellicano.
Who's that?
That was the young Bruce Springsteen, and he's never been in anything. He's just a New Jersey kid that they hired to play him, but he was great. He made me want to cry. He was great.
I thought he was really good.
Yeah. Well, I think we've hit on every single thing there is, didn't we?
Mike, who was his, I guess he was his guitar tech.
Oh, I know what I was going to say.
His name is Paul Walter Hauser.
No, I said that. He's the one who was in Blackbird, who I said looked like a serial killer.
Yeah.
Blackbird was with the guy who died. He was in Goodfellas. What's his name?
Joe Pesci?
No, he didn't die.
Oh, I'm just thinking of people, actors in Goodfellas.
He has like really dark brown, like almost like he's wearing eyeliner.
Oh.
And he was the main character in Goodfellas.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and he died. Okay, so he was in a series called Blackbird that we watched.
Oh, right. I know what you're talking about now.
Okay, good.
Okay, the actor's name is
Paul Walter Hauser.
No, the one you're talking about.
Yeah, that's But do you know about
Goodfellas?
Mike?
Oh, I know
Batlin.
his name. I just can't.
It'll come to me.
Later. Do I know who?
Mike Belton, who set him up with who was played by that guy, by Paul Walter Hauser played Mike Bolton.
Yes.
Mike Bolton is the guy who set Bruce up with the 4-track.
That's right.
Do you know what happened after this?
No, what?
He played with Bruce, he was the guitar tech for till 70. No, not 70. It must have been 85. And then he left. I don't know why. And Bruce said it was all handshakes and hugs and it was fine. But he ends up suing Bruce for millions of dollars.
Oh, really?
Saying that he didn't pay him enough or something. But that suit ended up getting thrown out or something. So then he sued him for like $200,000 for overtime pay. He didn't pay. And Bruce just settled it with him. So it went ugly in the end, I guess.
Oh boy, they always go ugly.
I know.
You know, talking about that, Bruce Springsteen going through depression. Was he suicidal?
Yeah, he was.
Well, this reminds me of the Billy Joel.
Yeah. That was a good
documentary we watched, where Billy Joel also went through this depression and was suicidal.
Look, Greg, this is artists, man. People who are real, true artists,
they
have a dark side. They do. I mean, because they're so in touch with their feelings and other people's feelings. They can empathize with people. Also, though, it makes you a better artist when you're in your dark place, I think.
You can't be a happy person and create
you can,
good stuff.
But it's going to be beboppy and it's going to be fun. And, it's like Billy Joel did all his best work when he was like the drunk, dark Billy Joel. Once he got happy, that's when like Uptown Girl came out.
Well, this Nebraska album, that's terrible. When it first came out, people were like, ooh, this is really different from what you've done before.
Yeah.
But now, today, they look back and they go, Nebraska is one of the greatest albums of Bruce Springsteen and one of the greatest albums of all time. But that's in hindsight.
Back that bus up for a second. Because when I listened to this album, having not really listened to it before, I was like, this is a Linda type of music. Like, singer-songwriter, for the most part, I can hear the lyrics. I love a story. And I was like, I love this. What is your take on this album as far as his stuff goes?
Well, Nebraska is a good album. I enjoyed listening to it. Mm-hmm. I've listened to it years ago as a kid. Mm-hmm. It's not one of those albums, though, that I could listen to over and over again. Mm-hmm. I just feel like once I've heard it once or twice, I'm like...
This is why I asked, because I knew that. I knew that about you.
But there's another singer-songwriter, Gordon Lightfoot. I could listen to Gordon Lightfoot over and over.
Yeah, but you like the instrument stuff. Like, you like the guitar parts. You like that's your... Like, somebody just strumming a guitar isn't your... I don't know. When I was listening, I was like, Greg's not going to be as into this as I am. Like, I could see driving down the road by myself when it's like, when I'm feeling kind of blue and I want to dig into that melancholy, because sometimes I do. And I would listen to this album and be like, yes, this is correct.
Look, when I'm sitting around relaxing and I want some background
music. You're
music.
Not going to listen to
When
this.
I want some background music and I'm just, relaxing, I'm going to put on some old jazz album from the 50s and just some background music. I'm not going to put Nebraska on as background music.
I don't see you ever. It's like there's a John Mellencamp album. That's like all acoustics. My favorite of his. And you were like, I don't know. Like, it wasn't for you. It wasn't for you. I listen to that album all the time when you're not around.
Oh.
It's true.
No, I liked it. But it's one of those,
Like, I think I liked The Ghost of Tom Joad, which is sort of, I feel like, more quiet like this too. That's another Springsteen. But I don't know if anybody liked that. I liked it.
Well, as much as I love Born in the USA and I love all these songs, I can only listen to this album so many times.
I know. We're just not Springsteen people, I would say.
I wouldn't say it's that. Mm-hmm. It's just like, some of the bands that I like and musicians that I like, even the best ones that I like, you listen to the songs over and over and over again. It's like, oh my gosh. I'll give you a good example. I think Billy Joel's song, Piano Man, is probably one of the best songs ever. What a great written song. I've heard the song a million times. And I love the song, but it's like when it comes on the radio, I'm like, okay, change the station because I can't hear this song again. even though I like it.
I could listen to scenes from an Italian restaurant every day. I love that. I like that better than Piano Man.
I mean,
you know the one about...
Oh, yeah.
It's got like 3 parts to it. I love that song.
Yeah.
How did we get on Billy Joel?
I like Billy Joel. And that documentary was really good.
I don't remember what it's called, but it was really good.
But there's a lot of songs.
Piano Man.
There's a lot of songs that I really like, but I just can't, I mean, how many times can you hear Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline?
Are you saying this just because this is why I'm telling you? I'm going to tell you why you say this. When we go on a cruise ship, there's always like a piano player, or there's this other guy. I guess he had a guitar, but at the first night we get there, he plays Sweet Caroline, he plays Piano Man, and we're all like, "Oh, that's fun." We're all singing along. And then the second night he plays, the third night, the fourth night, and pretty soon you're like, "Oh my god!" But
Right.
those songs go together in your head because of that.
Okay. If anybody has listened to this all the way to the end and you've made it this far, and
We're in over an hour.
and you have said, well, wait a minute, they've basically given away the whole movie. I know everything that happens.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's still a good movie. Go see it. It's like the Titanic. You know what happens. No, you know what happens in the end. That the boat sinks. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
But you still go for the story.
But I would say that if I don't know,
I tell you,
it is a melancholy movie. I will say that.
I'm a dialogue guy. I listen to the dialogue, and boy, that was well written. The dialogue was.
You know what else?
right
When he
on.
has a panic attack,
Boom, boom, boom.
that felt pretty real too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? It's kind of a breakdown where I don't know if it's a panic attack so much as just a real break. I felt that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
All right. Well,
Go see the movie. It's good.
Put your hands like there so we can make a little thing.
Oh, like this?
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed that.
Yes.
Sorry we went on for over an hour about it. Sorry if we spoiled it for you.
And well, you know what? Some people are going to listen to this and never go see the
Never see
movie.
it.
They'll never see the movie.
I do that all the time. I listen to people talk about books, and I just go, and they'll say, "I don't want to spoil it," and I'm like, "Please spoil it. I'm never going to read it. Just tell me everything."
I can't imagine
Tell me
someone.
everything.
I can't imagine someone listening to all this, then going to see the movie and go, "Oh, that Linda and Greg, they ruined it for me."
They might come back and yell at us.
Because I knew everything that was going to happen because I kind of knew the story.
Yeah,
But
we knew everything. It's fine.
it's fine.
Literally every single thing that happened, I was like, "Oh yeah, I read about that. Oh yeah, I read about
Oh,
that."
one other thing.
Except for Faye.
One other thing that's interesting. I didn't know this. The movie is based on a book.
Yes, that's right. It is. I think the book might have the same name.
It was based on a book by Warren Zanes.
Oh, that's right. No, Warren Zarin. Zanes? Sorry. Okay.
Zanes.
Okay.
Warren Zanes wrote the book.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
So-
there are a lot of like
I don't-
biographies about Bruce too, I think, out there.